Jonah didn't want to go prophesy to Nineveh was because he hated Nineveh. Hi, how you doing? I am Audiio Johnson, and this is Isaiah Movement. I want to thank you for watching this episode. Today's episode is going to be about that angry God, right? That God that sits on the throne and just grumbles at everybody that walks under him. Yes, today's episode is going to be about that. The people who struggle with the thought that God is an angry God. I'm going to try to build a case by using Jonah to show that God is not an angry God. He's a God of love. But we have people who refuse to go to God for forgiveness, refuse to go to God for healing of their hurts and pains, refuse to go to God for wisdom because they look at God as this angry entity sitting on his throne in heaven, just looking for a reason to punish people and looking for a reason to get angry like he always is. But again, I don't think God is an angry God. So let's talk about it with Jonah. Now, Jonah, God came to Jonah and he said, yo, Jonah. Now, okay, of course, I'm paraphrasing, but yo, Jonah, I need you to go minister to Nineveh. Go tell them to repent so that they will repent. If they don't repent, I'm going to destroy them. Let them know. I'm sick of this sin. Go tell them to repent. So Jonah, instead of going to Nineveh and telling them to repent, he ran and tried to hide from God. And if you don't know the story, you should read it. It's an entertaining story. So he went on this boat, and the people was like, they got caught in the storm. They was like, whose God is angry at him? And so Jonah was like, yeah, it's me, guys. I'm not one. So they throw Jonah overboard. And then Jonah got eaten by a big fish, whale, whatever you want to call it. He got eaten by this big sea creature, right? So now he's in the belly of this sea creature, sitting there in the complete dark. That's what I look at it as. He's in this complete dark. And, you hear the ocean rumbling around him. You probably hear the water inside the fish going back and forth. He's just sitting there like, yo, really, God? This is what we doing? You really gonna have me just sitting right here in this well? You're gonna do this? All this nastiness, I'm gonna have to stay right here. Really? Until he actually was like, all right, I'm gonna go to this place, Nineveh, and let them know. I'm gonna tell them to repent. So now I went to, Christian colleges. I went to Christian high school, Bible study, all that. Now, all the years of all the Christian studies that I've done, a lot of people used to always say, well, whenever Jonah comes up, they always would say Jonah was afraid to go to Nineveh. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, people used to say that Jonah doubted that God could actually do it, so he just ran away. So those were the two main reasons where that people would say Jonah. That's the reason why Jonah ran away. And I will say it was none of them. Neither one of those reasons was the reason why Jonah ran away. Now the reason, and I'll tell you that in 1 second. So before we get to the reason of why Jonah ran away, we're going to talk about this Nineveh, the city. So Nineveh was a part of the Assyrian city. So the Assyrians and the Israelites hated each other, right? The Assyrians back in those days, they was like brutal. Like, I heard stories that they used to tie people to their horses. Like, those are some of the first stories that I've heard of, like way back then. And they just drag people with their horses. Like, they had some cruel punishment back then, like the Assyrians. They was this cruel people. And so the Israelites and the Assyrians always went to war with each other. They fought. Assyria actually conquered the northern kingdom of Israel, the 11 tribes outside of Judah. So Assyria actually conquered them, and they was hard taskmasters over the Israelis. So now, with that being said, how much tension there was between Assyria and Israel, the reason Jonah didn't want to go prophesy to Nineveh was because he hated Nineveh. He hated Nineveh. He hated them with everything inside of his heart. And you might be like, how are you getting this? Where are you getting that from? Yeah, if you read in Jonah, when he went and prophesied and they repented, he got so mad at God. God was like, you see that they repented? And Jonah was like, yo, when I was at home, I told you this, that I didn't want to go because I knew this was going to happen. I knew you was going to forgive them. I knew you was going to have compassion because you are a compassionate, merciful God. I knew you was going to forgive them and not punish them. Jonah wanted God to punish the Ninevites, or the city of Nineveh. He wanted to punish the Assyrians. This is his opportunity as a person from Israel. This was his opportunity to get back at the Assyrians and have God wipe them out. But if he went and prophesied, they was going to repent, and Jonah knew, because God is compassionate and merciful, that he was going to forgive them and not destroy them. So he ran because he wanted God to destroy Nineveh. Wow. So he ran because he had so much hatred for a city or a people that he wanted them to die. But yet God was like, no. I want them to live. I just don't want them to sin the way they are sinning. So what this has to do with God's anger? We look at God, a lot of people look at God as being this so angry person that he's so willing to punish people for anything, right? But in the story, we can see that God is not about punishment. God is about compassion. He is quick to forgive. He's quick for mercy. That is God's character. Love first, punishment second. He has to do the punishment, but only when his hands are tied. He tries to give warnings. He tries to give ways out because he is a God of compassion, a God of love, a God of mercy. That is what God is. He is merciful, not angry. He is compassionate, not angry. He is loving, not angry. And we have to be able to see that God is more compassionate, merciful, and loving than he is angry. Anger is on the bottom of that list when it comes to God the Father or when it comes to the Trinity. Anger is on the bottom. It is love, mercy, compassion. Those are on the top of the list. Jonah was like, I knew you was gonna have compassion on them. I didn't want you to have compassion on them. I wanted them to die. That's what Jonah was saying. I mean, listen, I like to point out the brokenness and even the people in the Bible. I say this because I say it about myself all the time. I'm a person who walk hand in hand with brokenness, right? And because of that, I am able to see the mercies and grace of God. I can see it. I can see his compassion. And so this kind of stuff actually touches me and touches my heart. And I want people to understand that God is more compassionate than he is angry. He is quicker to forgive than he is to punish. So when you think that God is angry, go read Jonah. Because Jonah will tell you, God's not an angry God. He's compassionate, he's merciful, and he's loving. That's God. That's the God we serve. And now that's today's video. I want to thank you for watching this episode. Please like, share, subscribe. Until the next one. Boom, boom.